Hi, I wanted to make this video because I actually injured myself and I can't skate, but I wanted to do something skate related, so here we are. Yeah, it wasn't even from falling or anything, it's just from overuse. I thought it may have been a stress fracture, but I went to the doctor and they said I have something called metatarsalgia. So I waited a week before I went in and they said I'll have to wait for at least another 3 more weeks. So hopefully I'm not out too long. It's obviously not going to be a tutorial or anything since I'm still a beginner, but I thought maybe if you're making some of the mistakes that I am, you might find it useful. So let's get into it. All right, so here's my first ollie, and I turn front side there. And I do it again there, which is actually why I fell. My front wheels just caught as I turned front side and just launched me forward. I heard that it's really common for beginners to do. One thing that helped me was to lead with my shoulder and just think about pointing my shoulder in the direction I'm moving, so that way I don't turn quite as much. Also, just practicing rolling is really helpful to get rid of the habit, since it just kind of forces you not to do it, or else you'll fall like I fell. All right, so here I actually got some regular wheels. I had cruiser wheels on before, and the big soft wheels were really nice for just getting comfortable on the board again. But once I got these regular ones that were smaller and harder, they were a lot easier to pop because they were lighter as well. Another thing is these angled curves right there. If you can find something like that, that's going to be great for practicing ollies while rolling, because even if you don't pop high enough to clear it, the back wheels are just going to roll over it because it's like a ramp. So that's really useful for getting used to the feeling of rolling ollies. Also, something like this was really helpful too. This curb is actually angled. So actually off screen here, it's flush with the ground pretty much. And as you go out, it gets higher, which is why I make that one and why I miss the others, because it's higher up there. And something like that is great just because you can progressively add height as you get more comfortable. Okay, and then here where I say I'm getting more consistent at ollies up curbs, that actually came from unlearning some muscle memory I had from longboarding, because I used to longboard for a little bit in my early 20s. And when you're just bombing hills and stuff, you don't need to think about the back truck really ever. And because of that, when I was popping to jump the curb, I would only think about popping high enough for the front truck to clear, so the back one would keep getting hung up on the curb. And then once I realized that and started sort of aiming with the back truck or holding the back truck a little bit more in your mind's eye, I became a lot more consistent at jumping up that. So that's something to think about if you keep having that problem. Okay, so here I say something clicked for me and I was able to ollie easier. What actually clicked was more unlearning of muscle memory from longboarding. So if you look at my first ollie, see how my knee is bent in a funny way here? And then I do the same thing again right here. You can see my knee is bent into my front knee, and that comes from longboarding. Here, see how when you go into a speed tuck when you longboard, it's the same position. And if we compare that to someone who's good at ollies, see how both of the knees are bent the same amount? It's a lot easier to apply force in that way. So say this is the board, my back leg would be pushing at an angle. And if both your knees are bent the same amount, you're pushing more directly on the tail. And I think because of that, it was a lot easier to pop with less effort. So if you compare my early ollies, see how much my knee is bent into the front knee here compared to the day where it clicks and I'm doing better. See, my positioning there is a lot different than it was before. Okay, and then back at my first day back in the skate park, this is a great example of why filming yourself is so helpful. Because here, there was actually someone there that was watching me try to carve, and he suggested I bend my knees a little bit more. I was like, oh yeah, I'll try it. And then I took a clip, and I thought I was bending my knees a lot, but I was barely bending them at all. If you see here, that's probably the most my knees were bent. And if we compare that again to someone who's better at riding bulls than me, look at how bent his knees are right there. I didn't even realize that till after I saw the clip, and I was able to bend my knees more after that, and it was a lot easier to carve. So that's it. Skating again has been really fun. I just hope I'm not out too long, because I really want to get back out there and keep progressing. If you're not filming yourself already too, I highly suggest it, because I feel like I've progressed a lot faster than I would have if I hadn't been filming myself. And if you watch this, I hope that you're inspired to go skate too. So get out there and go skate.